Jenny Root is a poet, editor, and event planner in Eugene, Oregon. Her poems have appeared in About Face Journal, Basalt, Cirque, Cloud Bank, Crab Creek Review, Fiery, Windfall, and indie anthology New Poets in the American West. Her full-length collection, The Company of Sharks, was published in 2013. Do we have a copy of that on the table over there? We had one up here, and we've got various new and used books of all of our people here. So do take a look at those and pick things up if you need to. Jenny was an employee at Tsunami from 1996 to 2000. In that time, she organized and hosted many readings, including the all-night poetry filibuster and tours of Oregon Book Awards finalists. A fellow of Playa, a past co-host of the Springfield Poetry Reading Series, and past director of the Lane Literary Guild, she now enjoys coordinating an annual writers' retreat at Teepee Village Retreats in Marcola, Oregon. I will ask one little thing here because let's hold our applause between poems if we could, please. And just give everybody, a good rousing hand to come and go and feel the poems as much as we can. All right, Jenny Root.
Wow, everybody, thank you all for coming out tonight. Is this on? Can you hear me? Is this working? I can't tell. So try to get that positioned and then not worry about it. Yeah. So yeah, 96 to 2000. My dog Shauna used to come by without me. She would leave the house that I was living at. She would find herself down here, and Scott was out back, planing the shelves, planing the bleacher boards to make the shelving, and Shauna would show up and hang out with him. So those were those days. The all-night filibuster. I think some of you guys you read here for that. That was crazy. That was when the Contract on America happened with Gingrich, and they were trying to shut down the NEA, and so the filibuster idea was part of that time period. Good times. Long-standing bookstore, hooray for Tsunami, and now their new chapter with publishing. This is awesome. I have, I'll read the first two poems in this book, and by way of introduction for this first poem, you'll hear the word rhyme, but it's the one that's spelled R-I-M-E. Just wanted to, clear that up at the outset. This is Renascent. With a name like root, shall I begin with the rue? A recipe rife with ritual, a rendering rich and strange. I, at heart, I'm ruddy as a rainbow, a rouged ragout of rye delight, a riot on the dance floor, but a wreck in the middle of the night. You see, I've a wretched reputation, a runway of past regrets. I've rummaged reefer, rented rooms by the hour, rehearsed reverse roulette. Still, I wrestle the rat fakes with my ruthless repartee. The roadshow I remember, a reel among the ruffians, my rivals laid to ruin. With Romeo after Romeo, I rode my inner rodeo, a rendezvous, a revelry, remorse riding herd. One ran away, one reaped the gun. For one, revenge took a savage turn, and I lost all that I'd won. He wrung my rogue heart until I heard my own name run. I wept for the ransom, rue it hasn't come. Razored my resistance, my rhyme of rote replies. Now I ration reprisals, readjust as scenes require. My rehab, a raging river, my rifle, a rook in disguise. Yeah. All right, so the next poem is one that came out of some copy editing that I was doing. I don't want to be too attached to standing over here. So yeah, I was copy editing, and looking up various rules of grammar. And so this poem opens up with a quote from The Elements of Style, which is quoting the Bible. Quote, "Let us now go even unto Bethlehem, and see this thing which is come to pass." Occasionally, which seems preferable to that. This poem is That Which Lies Beside the Slough. The cigarettes that once touched their lips lie smoldering beside the slough. The cigarettes which once were whole as children lay crushed into the mud beside the slough. The blankets that lay heaped beneath the bridge covered them head to toe. The blankets, which once lay folded upon a quiet shelf, trembled in the scolding wind. The dog that nosed the blankets as it passed wasn't allowed to linger. The dog, which pulled back on its leash to linger, smelled something curious, so curious. The people who walked the dog tried offering privacy to the blankets. The people who walked the dog thought privacy a kindness to the blankets, which trembled in the testifying wind. The storm that took the town by surprise had everyone fooled. The storm, which shook the town by the throat, snapped trees in its gnashing teeth. The storm that raised the water in the slough howled like Gabriel. The storm, which howled like an angel on fire, raised the water, aroused the water in the drunken slough. The sweatshirt that once lay crumpled in the weeds was pulled in and sucked by the dirty lips of the slough. The sweatshirt, red and torn, which has known the shape of woman, swirled a scarlet torch song upon the wreck of slough. The people who had seen the sweatshirt for weeks were glad of its riddance. The people whom the shirt had seen from its bed in the crumpled weeds wondered where all the debris had gone from beside the slough beneath the bridge. The song that rose from the rack held a rose for the morning air. The song, rose and risen, which hovered in the air like smoke, ushered the greeting dog away. Away. I appreciate that, but let's respect Mr. Landfield and hold off. So I'm going to read you two new poems, and this one is something that I was working on, and I'll kind of rereading Jane Hirschfield. The title of this poem comes from the first line of her poem, Rebus, and from that poem comes the line that gave the title to the collection, Given Sugar, Given Salt, and so this poem riffs on that. Work with what you are given. As Hirschfield said, we work with what we are given. And I am given to so much grumbling, I think I must sound like a freight train, clacking and clanging across the tracks, lurching forward, sometimes stopping, keeping your car idling in the road as you watch the inscrutable graffiti roll past. Or maybe you're looking at your phone, reading the goddamn news, because you have to know when the bastard's crimes will finally catch up with him, when you read about another mass shooting, this time live streamed, as if we always have the capacity for more horror. We don't. Certainly I don't. And maybe that is why I curse and snarl and snark, as if you need any of that from me, given as you are to your own grief and fear, that which is always around us, carted in shopping carts if you have nowhere to set it down, or stashed in the trunk of your EV along with clothes and old linens headed for St. Vinny's when you're stopped by this relic from the 20th century, hauling God knows what to God knows where, but graced by some kid's art who was given flashes of brilliance and sprayed it across these metal boxcars for all to see. I wonder about that kid. Where is she now? Alive or dead? Or is she looking down at us from some parallel universe, knowing, as we can only wonder, whether all of this gets painted over, erased, given time and materials, the great leveling, a kind of starting over I'm always craving, having grown salty, less sweet, with every passing year. You know what I mean, don't you? How every year you feel scribbled over by so much noise you can't understand, but you watch for the art you can't stand to miss. It's also exhausting. Bells clanging, the all clear. What are you still doing here? You're free to go, so get going. Get back to work. And for the last poem that I will do tonight, if I were going to do a dissertation on the last 8 years, this would be the introduction. Chaos Agent. 1. Solve for X. It's possible we have lost the needle for good. It's possible the haystack, formerly known as X, now blots out our sun, although reasonable people may disagree. People will disagree whether or not content is moderated or otherwise blurred into infinity. Thing is, when did this become a problem? Solve for X. 2 wolves howling across a canyon spy the same prey. One sprints on winged paws with quiet certainty. The other discharges a gun. Was the prey fake or a convenient story? Consult the echo chambers, each with their own bullet, waiting. Aside from a shooting now and then, we're doing fine. What's all this about death threats? 2, working it over and over until it bends. Quote, you're the President of the United States. You can declassify just by saying it's declassified, even by thinking about it. Quote, a massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, articles, even those found in the Constitution. Quote, why should I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers. Quote, we're going to bring back Christmas. Quote, when you get good ratings, you can say anything. Both sides, both sides, both sides, both sides. Very fine people. Both sides, both sides, both. Find the beat. Both sides, both sides, both sides. Let it 2 times, 2 times. Get it all sides, get it all sides, till it concedes. Very fine, very, very fine, both sides. 3. Operating in shorthand. 11,780 votes. The pillow guy. The hair dye gone rogue. The leopard print cardigan adorning the kraken. A nationalist cartoon frog. The letter Q. Boogaloo boys. The ginger mint. Doxing. The noose at the Capitol. 1776. 4. An American in America. This is a quote from a poll respondent. I think what convinced me more that the election was fixed was how vehemently they have said it wasn't. An American in America, an American in America, an American in America, an American in America. How vehemently we have lost meaning saying we haven't. 5. A dream sequence of the possibility of passive collapse. Normal is a bicycle painted white at the corner of do not enter and proceed with caution. Where have you seen this bicycle before? A video online? A random TikTok your brother-in-law shared? You'll never find it again if you find the attention span to try. But you'll try, knowing someone has died. And 18 browser tabs later, you'll know what you're making for dinner for the rest of the week. Some of it healthy, some of it was skin. Normal is a ghost bike, wheels spinning in an ignorant wind. Lies have become an invisibility cloak in plain sight. Look at all those little eyes, how they deny and jab their little fingers, all at their enemies with their fancy cameras and boom mics. There's the eye that made imaginary wealth, and the eye that grabs pussy, and the eye that is afraid of germs. The eye who shares state secrets, and the eye who glowers in a mugshot and merchandises it to suckers. Machiavelli never had it this good.